live,
live.
live, live.
I don't even know what you're singing, but
I sang live.
Are you Mermaid Live or what? Little Mermaid Live now?
I don't know what I am. I'm tired is what I am.
Okay. Hi. Welcome to this week's episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. Please be sure to check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Thank you for watching us right now on Facebook and on YouTube. You can also find us on the Instagram and the Twitter.
Bong.
Over to you in the studio.
Oh, well. So, I guess today we have 3 movies we're talking about. 2 of them, you only saw 1 of them. I saw the other 2 alone.
What?
Well, that's some bullshit.
That's rude.
Well, that's because you're lazy. You don't do
dare
nothing.
you go see things.
Well, I told you to go
me.
today and you didn't go to anything.
Was I supposed to?
Well, earlier we had talked about it, and then you kind of kept ignoring me, and I suggested it again. You just kept talking
you
about
never
whatever.
told me that. I would have gone.
Because I said, why don't you go while I'm at class? I said that yesterday, and then I said earlier today.
I didn't hear you today.
And you just kept talking about whatever it is you were talking about.
Okay, well, I didn't hear you.
And so I'm.
Darn it!
Then you yelled about, I haven't seen the Addams Family. I said, well, go see the Addams Family. We can talk about it tomorrow. Well, shoes and such, and
I wasn't even listening to you.
That's our entire relationship.
So now I miss going to see a movie. I'm sorry.
So I have seen 2 movies. You've seen 1, and I saw the same one. So essentially, I saw 3. She saw 1, which means she is a slacker.
I am a slacker.
So what you talking about? We got Return. This is a day of sequels.
Yes, it's sequel day.
Everything about today is sequels. So we got a reboot. We got a Return to the Undead, and we got a Return to the Fairy Tale Lands.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to discuss first?
Well, let's talk about one of the ones you saw.
Okay, which one would you like to hear?
I have no idea.
Would you like to hear about the reboot Roadshow Double Feature? Or would you like
tell
to
me
hear
about that, because that has been like a big deal this week, I feel like.
All right. Well, this wasn't actually the Roadshow, but for those that don't know, a little-known filmmaker named Kevin Smythe, Kevin Smith, made an all-new chapter. He returned to the Jay and Silent Bob universe, or it's actually called the View Askew universe.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Well, you should know that. View Askew universe is all the films that have Jay and Silent Bob in them. So it's the world of Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Dogma.
Yeah.
I think that's the main ones. Doesn't count all the rest of his horror stuff. Oh, we forgot to get our horror films for today.
Okay.
And I know what I want, but I don't have pants on, so I can't get it.
You'll have to tell me.
Oh, well.
I'll find one.
Well,
Right,
I know what I want, but...
Well, just tell us what it is when we get
I'll just talk about it. So anyway, Kevin Smith, over the last few years, he shifted into doing horror of sorts with Tusk and Red State and Yoga Hosers, which is more of a comedy, horror-ish horror, but it was really more of just a spin-off of Tusk.
Yeah, it's fun.
But he has been teasing for years about doing Clerks 3. There was Mallrats 2 he was working on. There was a lot of different stuff that everything seemed to start happening. He was getting people, he was making announcements, and things would fall apart. Then he was going on another project that he's been directing a lot of episodes of Supergirl and Flash, and
he's been busy doing
his
a lot
podcast
of that stuff, I feel like.
But then everything changed because he announced he was making Mallrats 2. He was it was kind of in pre-production. He started announcing casts were coming back and this and that. Then he had his big heart attack like a year ago, and that kind of stopped everything. He changed his life. He lost tons of weight, to whatever. So essentially, what it made him do is he went back and decided to make, instead of making Clerks 3 or Mallrats 2, he went back to the roots of Jay and Silent Bob. And the story itself actually touches base on some of his real life stuff and fatherhood and things like this, to return for his latest one, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is in fact makes fun of sequels and reboots and remakes and is in fact all of those things.
Nice.
But it is also, of all of his movies, while all the characters interact throughout the franchises of his stuff, between Chasing Amy and Clerks and Mallrats, all these characters interact, even though sometimes they're played by the same actor playing dual roles. This one is actually a direct remake / reboot, sequel, prequel of the 2001 Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which was kind of, at the time, kind of the culmination of all of the movies he had made. This was the big budget when they got. They had all these guest stars that brought everybody back. It was a nice little cap to this part of his career, and he'd kind of moved on. And then he started doing all these other things. He did Cop Out, which didn't do very well, which I think was
I don't even remember that.
That's one with Bruce Willis. Which is you may not even know Kevin Smith. That is, if I'm not mistaken, that is the only movie Kevin Smith has ever directed that he did not write.
Oh.
And it got horrible reviews, and he talked about how miserable it was working with Bruce Willis.
Oh.
And then also he did Jersey Girl, which I like Jersey Girl, but it didn't get none of his films get critical acclaim, if you will, past Clerks, really. But then he shifted into the Tusk and all the weirder stuff he's been doing. That
was weird, man.
Which I love those movies. I love all things Kevin Smith. I mean, they just all work for me because I guess I get his humor and I find it entertaining. So anyway, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot is in fact a reboot of the franchise. It's a sequel to this 2001 movie, and it is a remake because it is directly almost the exact same movie again. With a lot of twists. So in this last one, in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, they find out they're making a movie of Blunt Man and Chronic, which was a comic book spun out of Chasing Amy, where Banky and Holden McNeil got the rights from Jay and Silent Bob to use their rights in a comic book, and they made the Blunt Man and Chronic comic. So they're like, this is stupid, so they're going to Hollywood to stop the making of the movie. So in this one, they find out they're rebooting that franchise and making a remake of Blunt Man and Chronic, but this time it's Blunt Man v. Chronic, making fun of the whole Batman v. Superman story idea. So once again, they decide to hit the road and stop this movie from being made. And along the way, they meet new characters, but they meet up with a bunch of other people. Jay's got to deal with potential fatherhood. There's a lot of Kevin Smith plays Kevin Smith and Silent Bob, so he touches base on his heart attack stuff. They go to a Comic Con, which is actually called Chronic Con, and that's like where they're premiering stuff. If you see the trailers, they've shown a lot of the special guests, but there's a lot of people that you don't know about that show up. Harley Quinn Smith joins the cast, his daughter, which is ironic because she's in this one as well.
Oh, okay.
She plays Baby Silent Bob at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, that's funny.
At the opening of this movie, it shows two moms bring two little babies and leave them out front of the Quick Stop.
Yeah.
While they go get beer or drugs or whatever they're buying.
Whatever.
And it starts with a little Jay who starts cussing, and then it jumps ahead to them. No. Well, Harley Quinn Smith played Silent Bob in this one.
That's so funny.
And now she's in the new movie as basically an adult. She's like 18, 19. Anyway, if you like Kevin Smith movies and you know what you're getting into, it's awesome. It clunks along a little bit in a couple of spots. It is very much a rehash of this movie, but it's not trying to be anything different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in the way he's releasing this is he did Fathom event screenings, which were both last week. The first night had like a bunch of bonus content in the movie, and then I think they were giving out free posters. And then the second night they did a double feature of Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Nice.
Then it had an intermission, and then it played the new movie, and then at the end of the new movie, it actually had a bunch of bonus stuff, which I'll tell you about.
Okay. So you get a lot for it.
But then they're also doing, this was the only two ways of seeing it for now, they're also doing the Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow, which Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes are traveling with the movie. That's cool. And going to, so they're coming back here. They'll be there on live in person to do Q&As and stuff with the movie. And then he said something about it opening wide during one of the little deals. So I don't know if that means they're going to do the roadshow and open it wide, or if it's just that roadshow means that's the wide opening. But it's really funny. It has like almost every person that's ever shown up in a Jay and Silent Bob movie, Kevin Smith movie, that's still alive, or that he actually liked working with, because there's some people that is legendary that he hated working with. Yeah, show up. Or they're referenced, as well as a lot of new people that show up. And it's funny because it's movies like these, because it's a shoestring budget to make a movie like this. As he has a homage to Iron Man in the movie. You see in the trailers, Chris Hemsworth is in the movie. That's cool. And he made friends with these people. And to me, it's a kind of a testament of who he is. Yeah. To get this caliber of people to show up to make a movie like this. To do a movie. And the biggest thing for me that came out of this whole movie was the rekindling of the Ben Affleck, Kevin Smith love fest, because it used to be they were in, Ben Affleck was everything, Kevin Smith always talked about if somebody asked him about casting stuff, he always cast Ben Affleck and everything. And then there's never really been an outpouring of what happened other than Kevin Smith saying, I think it was just my mouth. Because he goes, I used to tell stories, and I think I told stories that weren't my stories to tell. He goes, we never really had a fight or anything. We just stopped talking.
Yeah.
And went our separate ways. And if you haven't heard the story, because I want to tell it because I think it's awesome. The way they rekindled is he found out, I guess there was a break or something. They were shooting in New Orleans. Somebody said something to him on set while they were filming. He said he'd really love to have Ben Affleck here, but they're like, well, you should reach out to him. And he's like, we haven't talked in 10 years or something, or however long it had been. And he's like, no. So he was going to text him, and Jordan Monsanto, who is Jason Mewes' wife, who kind of spearheads everything in their company now, she was like, that's too impersonal. You need to call him or
it has to be.
Text him directly, not email him or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And so he texted him, and he said, he basically says, hey, we're down here in New Orleans. We're shooting this movie. Miss you. We'd love you to come play with us. Oh, somebody said in the interview, somebody asked Ben Affleck. They told him that they were shooting the reboot and asked if he'd been contacted, and he said no, but I'd love to. And so that got back to him, and he's like, good. Whatever.
That's so good.
But he thought it's like that's what actors say, and bullshit things they say in interviews. Of course he's not going to go. No, I'd never play. And so he sent a message. And he goes, I'd love to come down there. And next thing you know, he's on set, and they shoot a scene. In the scene in the movie, it's a pretty long scene, and it's kind of heartfelt too, because there's some stuff is said in the dialogue that rings true to real life, but also part of the story in the movie.
Nice.
But it's really funny. It's if you hated Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, you will hate this movie.
Yeah.
If you don't like Kevin Smith or anything with Jay and Silent Bob, this movie was not for you. If you do love them, like I said, there's moments that are kind of hit and miss. That to me, I enjoyed the whole thing, but I know another friend I was talking about, he thought it was just kind of just okay. But I got exactly what I expect to get out of it. Silliness, shenanigans, lots of pot smoking, wacky humor, cameos. And there's a whole discussions we've had on this show or in this movie about the differences between remakes and reboots. And,
yes.
And why they made this and how this copied this. And, there's a scene in one of the trailers that's really funny where Jason Lee's trying to tell him how the reboot is basically taking something and putting diversity in it and trying to change it for a new generation and talking about telling the story is tell me the name of the movie that's two droids trying to save plans for a station that's save the princess in the galaxy or blah 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 blah. And there's like Star Wars, like no, it's The Force Awakens, and it's because it's the same movie basically, But they do that with a whole bunch of movies.
They do that with everything.
But it's fun. And believe it or not, Kevin Smith did not come off weird being Finn Silent Bob.
Oh yeah.
But they mention it in the movie.
Oh, that's funny.
Because he's like, Lunchbox here has lost tons of weight, so I can't call him Lunchbox. Now I got to call him Little Lunchbox, and so they make the jokes about it, and they also bumped him up into technology where Silent Bob talks via little cell phone. Cool. So he does this with his phone every time. When he picks up, he's like,
don't you know he's not doing anything?
And then it's just one emoji. It's a running gag. It's really funny.
Oh my god!
But I enjoyed it, and at the end of the movie, they had the intermission, and then at the end of the movie, they had probably another good, I want to say 45 minutes worth of stuff. It start off with the interviews. So he interviews a couple. I don't want to say everybody interviews because some of them you may not know they're in the movie yet. But it's Kevin Smith and Jay talking to him. But Shannon Elizabeth comes back, who's in the previews, who played Justice in this one, who was the love interest. Mm-hmm. She was also known as Boo Boo Kitty F. Yeah. And trying to keep it PG for the kids.
I remember that.
He calls her that movie. She goes, you remember? But they hadn't seen each other in 10 years, right? Mm. And so they come back to contact. Well, he interviews Shannon Elizabeth after the movie. And so, we haven't seen Shannon Elizabeth in movies or TV stuff in forever. Yeah. And most of the time you think, oh, their career died. You know what she's been doing?
What?
He's like, Kevin Smith's like, tell these people what you've been doing, where we had to find you. She flew to the set where she's living. Well, she's not living on the set, but from where she's living in South Africa.
Is she helping kids or something?
No, she has an entire foundation, whatever, saving elephants and rhinos.
Oh my gosh.
And she lives in South Africa. That's what she does full time.
Oh my gosh.
And she flew from South Africa just to come be in the movie with him.
That's awesome.
And he goes, and I'm making this stupid movie. She's changing the world, And who would have thought the foreign American Pie girl changed it. That's what she'd be doing.
Hey, good for her. I'm glad.
But he interviewed a couple other people, and then they did a whole montage of bloopers.
We need a montage.
They put a lot of extra scenes in the not necessarily blooper scenes. Some of them are, but just different cuts of scenes during the credits.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole blooper reel at the end of the thing. Then there was Jay walking around on set just interviewing people that work on the movie.
Oh, like that's fun.
He was really more or less annoying them.
No, but
he's like,
still funny.
He goes, "This is the assistant director, or whatever." He's like, "Tell him what you do." And he's like, "Well, I have to chase this guy around to find out if he's going to be on set and where he's going to be." And he goes, "That is accurate." So it was fun. It was a fun night. The theater I had, people didn't laugh as hard as I kind of expected. But they all seemed happy. They might have been laughed at because they just sat through the first movie. So
maybe so. It's a lot.
Yeah,
it might be too much.
And I had to go to teach class, so I went ahead at the last minute, like the day before, and bought my ticket. And said, "Screw it, I'm going to skip the first movie. I'm just going to go to the second one." I got there for the big climax of the first movie, so I got to watch it again, even though I watched it at home. So it was fun.
Well, that's good. But that's super
Jay and
fun.
Silent Bob Reboot. It's fun. It's a nice return. For those of you that were hoping to get Clerks and Mallrats, I will say there's only one member of the Clerks team that was not there. Apparently they had a falling out as well, but it apparently has also been rekindled through press of this.
Good.
I don't know if they had a falling out, but weren't working together.
They just weren't.
But the running joke everybody's hoping is there is I'm not even supposed to be here today is there.
Yes, good.
There's characters playing multiple characters in here. They got Jason Lee who lives here now.
Oh.
And has like a brewery type restaurant thing. He doesn't even act anymore. And he showed up and played both of his parts again. So anyway, it was a great time. There's a running like lusting over Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, well, who wouldn't really? Everybody.
And the new, because in this one they have the 4 like assassin type ladies.
Yeah.
They're doing the robbery.
Yeah.
So in the new one they have 4 new ladies, but they're teenagers, and it's Harley Quinn Smith and her 3 friends. One of them's an Asian lady that's doing some kind of a weird podcast. There's one that's like a Muslim type, and there's an African American girl who's deaf. Nice. So it's like all this diversity slapped into this one group of 4 people. It was pretty funny. Anyway, Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. I'd like to tell you to go see it in the theater, but just go look up Jay and Silent Bob Reboot Roadshow, and you can find out if there's tickets for when it comes to your town.
Okay.
Good job, Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes.
Next.
So the next one's either one we talk about together or I talk about my other one I saw. And I just talked this whole show.
Okay, so we're going to talk about this one. The next movie is also a sequel. It's a sequel.
No, it's not Jim Cotta.
You have the first one?
I do, in fact.
We're going to be talking about the new film, Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Maleficent.
Not Maleficent, Maleficent.
That's what I said, Maleficent.
Maleficent. And it's the sequel to this movie right here.
Called Maleficent.
Called Maleficent.
Maleficent.
You guys, y'all are going to kill me. You know it's not that, right?
Yeah, have you seen the team-up movie of Maleficent and Popeye?
No, it's Maleficent.
Maleficent and Popeye.
No. You need to shut him and hit you. Anyways, so what year was this one in?
Well, supposedly.
Oh my gosh!
Her and Popeye got together and they went around the corner.
Babe, what year was that movie?
1952. It was a few years back, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh no.
I'll go find out.
Hold on, my eyes don't work anymore. I can't see this.
2014.
2014.
So it's been 5 years.
It's been
Okay, so in 2014 we had Maleficent, which is supposedly the kind of real story behind the Sleeping Beauty story that we all thought was real. It stars obviously Angelina Jolie
and Frank
and Elle Fanning, who is Dakota Fanning's sister. I personally, honestly, I like Elle Fanning better than Dakota, but
I used to like Dakota Fanning, but now she's
a little bit different now. She's a little weird. She's a little weird little girl. Anyways, so now it is important that you see the first one. Don't be one of those people to go see the sequel without seeing the first one. I feel like you need to see this just to understand where Maleficent's coming from. The heartache that she endured, why she went bad, and it's basically your show why women kill. That's what this
season finale was this past week.
Was again.
It's pretty darn good.
Okay, so now 5 years later, we have Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. I really liked this movie. Did you not?
It was okay. I fell asleep for some of it.
I really, really liked it because we're introduced to a good wide variety of characters. I don't want to spoil it because no one knows. It's not in the trailer or anything. You got to watch it. Are they? Well, not because
not a big variety, but they are in the trailer.
Okay. Anyways, there are so many things happening in this story.
Not really.
So now the little girl's grown up. She's gonna get married.
She's 5 years older.
And well, she's all grown up, and she's gonna get married, and then madness ensues.
Cliches ensue.
It is a little cliche, but I liked it.
So here's my problem: is I didn't hate the movie by any means.
Okay.
But I actually, the first one I thought was okay. I thought it was a nice twist on the Sleeping Beauty story. I think Angelina Jolie is great in the part. Visually, it's beautiful. I felt this new one is about the same thing. It's. I like it. Some elements better than the first one. I felt the first half of the movie and most of the stuff that was dealing with their relationship was just so cliched and predictable. I was kind of bored. I was dozing off and I went to middle of days and I went.
I think you just don't know what's good.
Is that what it is?
Yes. What do you think about Michelle Pfeiffer?
She was okay. She looked like she was trying her best and having a good time in the movie.
I think so.
I just thought. Again, I felt like it wasn't her performance. I just felt like her character was just super cliche. Like there was nothing in this movie. Even the cool stuff I liked felt fresh to me. It all just felt like the same crap. Like somebody just said, "Okay, we made a lot of money with the first one, so how can let's do this."
Excuse me. Do you feel that it was too much of like the Disney method of the storytelling?
Yes and no.
Because they do that with the cartoons. They reuse the cartoons.
Yeah. Yes and no, because I think it felt like here's the thing is when they made the first Maleficent, when they made the first one, they were in uncharted territory. And this was the movie that kind of launched the new live action themes of remaking everything. And while this was a remake of Sleeping Beauty, but you didn't really know it was a remake of Sleeping Beauty because there was a different take on the story and a new twist. And like that stuff I thought was super clever. Because you didn't know until the end of the movie that, okay, we are on the Sleeping Beauty story. Like, even though it was obvious the story they were telling, it wasn't how
we get it from the other side.
It wasn't how we knew it. Yeah. So it wasn't until she's like, they call me Sleeping Beauty. Like, okay, they did keep it with that story. You know, not like, I know a lot of people were being like, well, I knew it from right away.
Well,
I know it was the same freaking story, but they had changed it because in the original Sleeping Beauty, she turns into the dragon, she's doing, and all those elements are there.
Yeah.
So in the new one, it's so uncharted that they had to try to come up with a story because there isn't a story for this. And trying to expand on it, to me, would have been the thing that made it more interesting. But now you're having to take a character that fans know is easily probably the most evil character in Disney's archive, and at least the scariest one from the Disney princess movies with the dragon and everything else. And the way the way it was animated and stuff, it's probably the darkest one. And I think she was imbalanced in the movie, which we'll talk about in a second. I like getting to see expansion of who she is and her people. But the other side of it, had they stuck with that story, that would have been more interesting to me. And just have a little sub-story that was the fight between the humans and the magical creatures of the forest and all that crap. All the love part of it and all that stuff to me just felt.
You never like any of the love stuff in movies.
The problem is because it all feels manufactured. It's like I like movies that
because love isn't real.
Yes, love is a myth. Just like a female orgasm. No, it's not that. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just if I don't like love stories that are just cliche.
Babe, there's young people in love. Just let it happen. It's Disney princess love. You gotta let it happen.
I don't have to let anything happen.
Anyways, fine. If you didn't like that part, what about the thing that I did like? I'll see if you caught it. I'm sure you did. I like the idea.
I know I slept through some of it.
Okay, I like the idea that the story overall is dealing with the issues of diversity, accepting people as they are. When you meet someone that's like completely different.
I don't like diversity. No, I'm just kidding.
Because I mean, obviously, we have the humans, we have the people living over here in the little magical fairyland. And as you see in the first movie, they didn't really like each other, and they built these walls up. And here we're still kind of dealing with the same issues. And I feel like as people in the entire world, we're still dealing with the same issues of just trying to get along with people that are different. So hopefully some of that came through for younger audiences too. So I liked it. I liked everything about it. I didn't think it was too cliche.
I like there was no singing.
I think it's a Disney movie. Oh my gosh, there was one point where I thought the little girl was going to bust in the song.
When she was standing there with the butterflies and crap around her, or the other animals flying around her.
Yes, when she walks out, it was very Cinderella for a minute, and I was like, oh my gosh, is she going to start singing?
I was so glad too that they minimized how much we had to deal with those fairy girl ladies.
Yes,
they were annoying.
They were a lot in the first one. So. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I think you should go watch it. Please see it on a big screen because
it was number one this weekend.
It's beautiful to look at.
Visually, it's amazing, and again, it's not a bad movie. I didn't hate it by any means. My sleepy factor, I don't think really had much to do with the movie. Although there were elements that I found slow and pacing, like it drugged some of the stuff out too long for no apparent reason. I loved getting to see Warwick Davis playing a character that just does something more than stand in the background.
Yeah.
The whole side of dealing with, you see in the end of the trailer, if you've ever seen it, you see that there's other versions of her of some sort. There's more of the trailers. She walks in there and sees one of them. So all that stuff is cool. It's a whole nother aspect, which leads up into the third act is great. I love there's kind of a big battle of sorts. That part is all awesome to watch, and not just because it's action, but it's well handled. Although I thought there were some missed opportunities, but I can't tell you without spoiling it, so I'm not going to say it. But overall, it was fine. It was an unnecessary sequel that worked fine.
I liked it. In general, you don't like Disney princess movies.
I don't like most Disney movies, but
especially the princess ones.
Well, I don't.
You like the animal ones.
I like most of the stuff with the animals and like the old Robin Hoods and stuff like that. And I like the older Disney movies, like Snow White and some of that older stuff. I don't like the Disney generation thing they did, where it was Little Mermaid and what was the other ones during that time? Talking to You Woman, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Pocahontas.
Princess Jasmine.
Oh, the Aladdin. Like Pocahontas wasn't really part of it, but she was. But there was that whole element where every character in the art style was the same in every movie, and they just changed their hair color and their clothes and slept them into another adventure and sang about some stupid crap. And so most of those movies just never worked for me. I've enjoyed some of the live action ones, not Aladdin, but I've enjoyed some of them.
Did you like Beauty and the Beast?
No.
Because there's too much singing?
My problem with Beauty and the Beast is the whole thing is
I know.
It's a bestiality movie, and nobody seems to have a problem with this.
No, I get it.
I don't know.
Oh, well.
Anyway.
Check it out. Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. It is in theaters now.
And I didn't give it a bad review.
Thank you.
It's like I said, for me, most of the issues was pacing and lack of something new.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain that. If you like the first one, you'll probably like the second one. So go check it out.
There you go.
If you are going to watch it, you should watch it on a big
screen.
Big screen so you can get the full effect of rumbling seats and vibrant colors and picture and sound.
Yes. Do that.
You're not alone in the universe. That's how the IMAX thing starts.
Yeah. Go ahead. Next.
Watch a movie or become one.
No, the next movie.
Oh.
What are you talking about now?
I don't know. What are we talking about? Oh, it's my turn.
It's your turn. What movie you saw?
Goodbye, Maleficent.
Maleficent.
I've lost the other movie. It's under here. Hold on. Everybody calm down. All right, so
I'm calm.
Another about 10 years ago, I think, again.
Oh, goodness.
All the sequels that we're getting are kind of far out. What year was this one? I don't remember on this one either. Anyway, this one got delayed because, let's back up. This was one of those unexpected hits. Nobody knew anything about the movie. It hit the theaters. Everybody's like, what is this? Saw it. And we're talking about Zombieland. And Zombieland has got Abigail Breslin, Woody Harrelson, Jesse Eisenberg, and Emma Stone. A bunch of actors that don't seem to belong together.
Not at all.
A bunch of actors that went on to now have either Academy Awards or nominations or whatever. And the kind of movie that you would expect them to now return to. This is a movie that you would expect the actors that are just starting out to be in.
Yeah.
Not that already had careers.
When you just hear Zombieland, you think it's some, like 2-bit movie.
But the first one's a fun, good quality movie. So then once you see it, you realize, okay, now I understand.
Well, and it was the best because it opened. It's like, this is Garland, Texas.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I remember we first saw it, everyone was like, woo!
Yeah, in the theater.
We're like, wait a minute.
Garland,
they just dissed us.
Yeah, they just insulted us. So anyway, they've been talking about a sequel forever. But the writers that work on this, if I'm not mistaken, they're part of the team that worked on Deadpool.
Oh, cool.
So in a lot of interviews, Woody Harrelson saying, "Well, Deadpool's the reason it's been taking so long."
Maybe
the guy that directed, Ruben Fleischer, who directed this, returned for the second. He also directed Venom. So there's been a lot of big movies in between, making it delay us getting to Zombieland 2. But we finally got it with Zombieland Double Tap.
Nice.
Which Double Tap is one of the rules in Jesse Eisenberg's character. I'm sorry. In
Columbus.
Columbus, thank you.
Looking at it.
I thought you actually remembered something.
No, I remember what's his name's Tallahassee and Little
Columbus,
Girls, Little Rock.
So basically in the second one, we jump ahead. It's been, I think it's been the same amount of time since the last one came out, I believe. But they're still out living together as a family and doing their thing. And, like the end of this movie, the Jesse Eisenberg and Emma Stone are together, and they're living in the White House, and they're having their life. And it starts off the same way. It's like, hey, welcome back to Zombieland. We're glad you came back for yours. And then it has a crazy opening credit sequence. And so, but one of the things they did that worked well for me, I like the new one just as much as I like the original.
Oh.
It's kind of on the same bar. It's not better. It has elements that may not be as good, but I thought it's fun-wise, it's just as fun. But what they did is they introduced some new characters. So in the first movie, outside of like Bill Murray, the first movie is pretty much just them.
I think that's my favorite part of the first movie is when they're in the theater and
then you will not be disappointed with the second movie.
Okay,
good. There's a lot of Elvis in this new one. There's a lot of. They also elevate, instead of just having to do the same thing, they elevate some of the zombies. So now they've named the different kinds of zombies.
Oh, are there fast moving ones?
Well, I'm not going to tell you, but he's telling the different kinds of zombies they've encountered.
Yeah.
And so they talk about. Like, I'll tell you the one of them, they call one the Homer. He's just kind of dumb. And he just like wanders around. And so it's a running gag.
I love it.
And, but then they have different ones so that it changes on how they have to fight and kill some of the zombies, because some of them act a little bit differently or maybe are faster or stronger or more aggressive or whatever, or stupid and whatever. So they're dealing with that. But then the bigger thing this time around is they're dealing with new people.
Yeah.
Which in the trailer, they show a few different new actresses. But if you haven't seen the trailer, I'm not going to tell you. But so they have new interactions. They're dealing with some inner conflict. There's a girl, Zoe Dutch. I don't know if that's how you say it right, or Douche. Zoe Douche.
I think it's Dutch.
I think it's Dutch. But she's is
familiar.
Super annoying in the best possible way and steals the movie.
Nice.
Her character is like this super blonde valley girl, annoying, kind of stupid character who is she is hilarious.
Oh, she is actually the daughter of I'll get to it. Keep going. I love her. She's good. She was in Beautiful Creatures and Before I Fall and all those little movies that I like.
She's never seen Beautiful Creatures.
Yes, I did. And I watched it again on TV the other day.
What's Beautiful Creatures about?
It's the one where she goes into that weird house and magic things start happening. So there.
Anyway,
and it has that guy.
But she steals the movie. She is so funny. She's a very stupid character. So when she first showed up, I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna be completely annoyed. I'm gonna be completely annoyed by this character when she showed up. And I found myself about halfway through the movie with her there. She leaves. She comes back a couple of times, and I'm like, she is awesome. So it's very funny. It's got a lot of the same zombie kill type stuff. They step it up with some new things and new characters and new worlds while still keeping it open where they can come back to Zombieland again if we want. They do not diss Garland this time.
Nice.
So that's a good step in the right direction. I can't say the same for Graceland, but there is a heavy thing of Elvis in this. And did you know
I'm so excited.
that Woody Harrelson was once an Elvis impersonator?
What?
He said it in an interview. So
that is awesome.
You can see it. Woody Harrelson do some Elvis singing in the movie.
I'm so excited.
So, anyway, so Zombieland 2 Double Tap. It's actually really funny, really fun. It's stupid, but that's kind of part of the point. If you like the first one, I personally think you'll like the second one, if not more. I had a great time. But stay through the credits because there's not only stuff mid credits. There's also a scene at the very end of the credits.
Nice. I'm excited to watch it because I did like.
There's only one whole thing that pissed me off about this whole movie, and I told you, there's a cameo that's in the movie.
Okay.
Should I even say it? Remember I told you.
I don't remember. Don't tell anybody.
The reviewer lady that I can't stand.
Oh, screw that.
She has a stupid cameo. Thankfully, if you don't know who she is, she's barely there. She's long enough that I was just like, oh, and I said it out loud. I was probably.
Did anybody else say anything?
And it's not a scene where anything is happening that should get any effect. But as soon as I saw her, the guy that was watching with me, I went, ah!
Did anyone say anything?
He was like, look at me, and people.
Are you like, I hate this?
I did. I went, I'm so sorry. I said, I can't stand that bitch.
You're that person.
And everybody just kind of looking because she's on the screen for like 5 seconds.
It's too much.
It's too much, but yeah. And now all of her Twitter and everything is all about, oh, look at my time on the set. Oh, look at this.
Whatever. That's so annoying. Yeah. You're that guy in the theater. I am that guy. And if you hear someone laughing when someone's getting killed, that's me.
That is you.
Sorry. Can't help it.
So.
There you go.
The other thing that came out, they brought 3 from Hell since it's Halloween. 3 from Hell. 3 from Hell is officially out. So we were just talking about it a couple weeks ago.
It's also a sequel.
It was a Fathom Events thing as well. And now for 3 from Hell, and it's got rated and unrated versions on it. So if you haven't seen it, now you can get it. If you missed the Fathom Events thing, now you can watch it. Check it out. It's a great movie.
Good.
It's the final Sid Haig movie.
Aww.
I guess that's it.
All right. Well, that's what we saw this week.
Did we not
watch anything else?
No, unless you want to talk about your Halloween movie now.
Yeah, I gotta find one.
You don't have one ready already?
No, I don't have one ready. But I know which one I want to pick, and I don't know if we own it.
Okay, well, hey.
I don't know the name of it. You have to remind me.
What the hell? How do you say I know which one I want? I don't know if we own it, and I don't know the name of it.
It's the movie where the man keeps trying to leave town, and he can't.
It's called the...
Sorry, I just screwed you up.
In the Mouth of Madness.
In the Mouth of Madness. That's the movie I'm picking.
Starring Sam Neill.
Yeah, starring Sam Neill. That's exactly what I was going to say, babe. It was right here on the tip of my tongue.
That is not even close.
So that's the movie I'm going to pick. I really liked it. It's funny because I feel like he ends up in a horror movie or something, right? He's just like nonchalantly.
Remember, Crazy?
He's going to investigate.
I love that movie, but it's been years. So I think he's a writer.
Let's see. It says insurance investigator begins discovering the impact of a horror writer's book have on his fans. It's like he becomes part of the story. Yeah. And he can't leave. And he's like,
and there's the crazy old lady behind the counter.
Yes. Anyway, so that is the movie I am picking today. Do we even own it?
I don't think I do anymore because I had it on VHS. And then when we changed everything over, I don't think I transferred it. But I think Shout Factory is fixing to release it on Blu-ray. So if it didn't already come out. So
anyways, this is a movie you need to check out if you've not seen it. You've been missing out. It is a John
Carpenter movie too, in case you didn't know that.
There you go.
Did you even know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, John Carpenter directed it.
Oh, well, there you go. You should watch it. That's the movie I'm picking for my Halloween movie this week. What have you got?
Mine is a horror film, but not a horror film.
Mm-hmm.
Not like scary, but more like it's real life. What the hell?
I didn't even post.
So I'm gonna go with in the theme of Kevin Smith. I'm gonna go with the what? It's not Tusk.
Oh, that's what I thought you were gonna pick.
I'm gonna go with the 2011 movie Red State. Red State was his first foray into the horror genre. It's basically the premise is a group of teens get like an email or a text or something about to go have sex with somebody.
Oh,
like it's Craigslist type.
Don't ever do it.
But when they get there, they realize they're basically end up at some place with a bunch of fundamentalists. It's literally his idea came from the God Hates Fags church that are always protesting.
Those crazy people.
Crazy cult people, and so it's one of those. So it's it's not a normal Kevin Smith movie. It's not silly in any way. It's not bizarre in any way. It's kind of messed up, which I really liked. It's got the where's it? I think it's this one. He's in this one. Where's he at? It's basically they're at this compound and there's a crazy preacher and then there's like police standoffs and it's like it's creepy, scary from a standpoint of real life. You know what I mean? It's like everything in this movie felt like it could actually happen.
Yeah.
No,
it really could. I mean, crazy things happen with those type of people all the time.
Yeah, it's Michael Parks. That's who's it. Because it's got Michael Parks, who's late great Michael Parks, Melissa Leo, John Goodman's in it. It's got a great cast of some young actors, but it's just so it's kind of grungy and dirty, but it's violent but not hyper violent, but it's just so creepy because there's people like that, you know, and that whole thing of, like you said, as soon as somebody says, hey, I'm gonna go meet some stranger for sex, you got a 50-50 shot of getting sex or getting dead.
Here's the thing. 30 years ago, what was it, 1990 something? Back in 1990 something.
She's making us old.
20 years ago. It wasn't that crazy to meet someone online, I guess. I mean, that's how I met my friend James, and we've been friends for 20 years.
It was still crazy.
We met in a chat room, but it was a Buffy chat room.
Tell them what kind of chat room.
It was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer chat room.
So once again, you had a 50-50 shot of either being locked in someone's basement, but usually their mom was home upstairs.
This was before people could live tweet. We were live chatting during the shows. You know, there was a group of people.
Were you really sitting during the show and Buffy, and you were live chatting with people during the show?
We would chat about the shows.
I've never had this conversation with her. Let's back up.
Not live
I know James, and James is a lovely man.
But afterwards, you know, you go, I did what you think about this.
So let me get that. Hold on. Let me back up. I need to get this vision.
Oh, Lord.
So you would watch an episode of Buffy.
We talked
and then
about
you run to your dial-up modem.
Yes.
And then you would go and chat with random people about that episode of Buffy.
Yeah.
So how would you enter the conversation? What would you say?
Hi.
You just watched that damn episode with the cheerleader that blows up every week. The only episode that I watched. Here's what I would have said. I would have come in there and said, "Watch again today. Guess what? That cheerleader blew up again," because that seems to be the only episode I saw.
I don't know how that's the only one you've ever seen.
Well, no, I've seen them all now, stupid. But back when I was trying to watch it, first time I ever decided to watch it, it was that episode. I said, this show sucks. I returned to it later. There's that freaking episode again. I said, this show still sucks. That's all they do in this show. Not realizing it might have been the same episode. I was like, it's just cheerleaders in this show. And then when I met you were like, no, you should watch this show. It's so great. It's like real life.
It is.
This is when I knew I should have run for the hills. But so I remember watching the show, and when it got to that episode, I'm like, oh, this episode's real? Because I had decided in my mind I'd made it up. And as the episode happened, I was just like,
that's like episode 2. You didn't get past any of it. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. Be careful about meeting people in chat rooms.
Let's go back to the conversation though. How did you enter?
I don't know. I just found it. I stumbled upon it and started talking to people and.
No, okay, you're misunderstanding my question. You just finished watching that episode.
Yeah, you're like, hey, did y'all watch the episode? What do y'all think? What do you think's gonna happen? It's one of those.
Did you write all that out?
Maybe.
In your keyboard?
I guess so. And there were people, who were like write fan fiction that would share their fan fiction. It's like now people do that on the Facebook.
I know that it's common now, but I'm trying to figure out how you were a novice.
I don't know, but I don't know.
They were rich because they had the intranet.
Anyways, I met my friend James. We're still friends. There you go.
I didn't have the internet back then.
He wasn't a weirdo. I was a weirdo. He was.
I'm just more impressed that y'all were so rich.
Yes. Anyways, what were we talking about? Red State.
I'm just envisioning young, chippy Drusilla, because she was hot back then. And
I'm not now.
Hey, you're an old maid now. I just envision an old chippy Drusilla. She's sitting there. I just watched Buffy. And hey guys, anybody out there want to talk about Slayer? And then here comes James. Hello.
Wow. Anyway, not at all. Okay, that was our Halloween movies of the week. What's coming out on the video?
I get that visual out of my head of you and the computer and dial it up, like running to the computer. I
wasn't running the computer, babe. We were just talking about it.
No, because you didn't have laptops then, so you had to go to the desktop. So you finish watching the episode, the credits, and you're like, Eureka! I have to go to the chat.
It's not like it was a constant thing. And then you just start talking about life.
But you had to make a conscious effort to get up from that TV show and go to the computer.
It just happened.
Hold on. So this is you sitting there, your big eyes, just watch TV.
Oh my gosh.
Soaked it all in.
Cat on me.
You soaked it all in through your gigantic orbital eyeballs. And then you said, Eureka! I must speak to people in the world about Buffy today. And you get in there and you're like, You got mail. Then you get out of AOL.
I never AOL'd.
And then you're like, James, are you on, James? We talked last episode. James, what'd you think of this week's episode? And James comes back. He goes, "Why, hi, Drusilla.
Hi.
I miss you. What was your screen name?
I have no idea.
Was it Buffy Lover 345?
No, I'm sure there was one of those.
You didn't have. Do you honestly remember? You're lying.
I don't.
She had some messed up screen name.
No, I really don't.
She's like, Steak 'em all 423.
No, I'm sure I used Drusilla because it's part of the show, but I don't remember.
I am Drusilla or Drusilla the real deal or some bullshit.
Anyways, keep going, babe. We're going to run out of time.
How are we going to run out of time? We control the time.
I know, but I don't want to do it too long. I always try to stick around an hour. Because I'm hungry, too. I want to go eat something. Keep going.
Well, that's it then, I guess.
Well, tell me. I asked you what's coming out.
Well, let me tell you. It's time to nut up or shut up.
Okay.
That's from Zombieland.
All right.
All right. So this week we have all kinds of things happening. Is it this week? Yeah. So we have the complete, which is kind of confusing.
Okay.
I was doing a dramatic pause. I messed it up. Shut it. We have. Let me fix my thing here. Make sure I see what I'm doing. We have Veronica Mars, the complete first season, 2019. So even this would technically be the fourth season?
Mm-hmm.
It's being billed as the first season because it's a new season on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
So this is coming out this week. All new episodes. If you haven't checked it out, if you don't want to buy it, you can also check it out on the Hula.
On the Hula.
The Hula Hoops. We also have the all-new DC animated feature Wonder Woman Bloodlines is coming out. It's Wonder Woman. It's animated.
Wonder Woman.
And it's on 4K. We also have this movie called Legend of the Demon Cat coming out.
I got one of those.
Yes, she does. And ironically enough, we'll be giving away a copy of this as well if you want to see a demon cat. It's not really that much of a demon. This one. I should have talked about this one because I watched this today. Satanic Panic.
Nice.
Which is going to be coming out next week. Stars Janine Garofalo. No. Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca Romaine. Somebody named Haley Griffith and Ruby Modine. Ruby Modine is, I don't know if Ruby Modine's her, but one of the girls in this movie is the best friend in Happy Death Day. The first one that was her roommate.
Yes.
That ends up being the killer thing or whatever at the end of it.
You just spoiled the movie.
If they haven't seen it by now, there's a sequel out already. Get over themselves. Yeah. She's in this as well.
Cool. I like her.
So it's actually a really, really bloody, fun horror, Satan worshiping, good groveling, good time. We've got the 20th anniversary Never Give Up, Never Surrender Steelbook edition of Galaxy Quest coming out. Galaxy Quest. Which if you want to,
I like this.
This movie is awesome.
Dumb,
this movie is awesome.
But I like it.
We talked about it ironically the other day, but if you've never seen this, one you need to see it, but it's also got a you can watch it's the what they call Thermians, is that right?
Maybe.
Yeah. They have an entire Thermian audio track.
They look like octopus.
So you can watch the entire movie with their language. So she's like, I've watched about 45 minutes of this movie like this one time.
Why?
I was annoying somebody.
That's funny.
Somebody said no, and then I turned it on. And did you know, little fun fact, look, it's Veronica Mars' dad.
Oh,
he's one of the little aliens in it.
That's so cool.
So there's that. And then a little small movie is coming out called The Lion King. I know most of you may have never heard of The Lion King, but here it is. It's hitting the Blu-ray and the DVD. And in the midst of all these things, we have giveaways. Free stuff. One of them is, in fact, Legend of the Demon Cat, which I just told you about. We're also be giving away. Where's it at?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
I just closed the wrong window.
Digital copies of The Lion King.
Oh, it can be yours.
It can be yours for a small fee of, free. We're also giving away copies of Night Hunter, starring Sir Ben Kingsley and Henry Cavill and Alexandra Daddario.
A bunch of pretty people.
And Stanley Tucci.
I like Stanley Tucci, actually. He's one of my favorite people. I don't know why. I just like him.
Another one, the Legend of the Demon Cat's not quite up there yet, so it'll be up there soon. We're also giving away copies of, for Halloween, Killer Sofa.
I'm gonna like this movie.
It says, "Don't sit on the furniture." The most relaxing way to die.
You know what? Now I know what I'm picking next week.
We'll have to watch
Killer
this week.
Sofa.
So we have to. I'm just going to read the synopsis of Killer Sofa to you because you need to hear it.
You need to know.
When a killer recliner falls in love with a girl, it's up to a disgraced Jewish rabbi and a couple of broken-hearted detectives to figure out how to stop the bloody carnage that will follow.
This is exactly like that other movie I like.
What's Deathbed? The Bed That Eats? We may do an episode where we just talk about things that are inanimate objects that kill.
I love it.
Because you already got Deathbed, Killer Sofa,
Tire,
Rubber. Death Spa is not really the same thing because that's at the health club. I don't know. We probably threw some. This is from.
I'm excited.
Is this the one that's the director of Zombieverse? I don't think it is. I think that was the other one. No, that was Drone. Anyway, so we're going to be giving a copy, and I would like to apologize for this title. Even though it says Killer Sofa, it clearly says it's a Killer Recliner. So I don't know why it's called Killer Sofa. But
they messed it up.
Well,
Killer Armchair.
I'm assuming this was just a tighter fit for the logo and the idea. So whatever.
We'll just go with it. I'm sure.
And that is it for now from my neck of the woods.
All right. Well,
back to you, Sally.
Coming out at the theater is a movie. So now, as we get closer to Halloween, we're getting some more kind of scary movies. So the first one is Countdown.
It's the final
countdown. So this is the trailer where the people, they download the app that tells you how long you're going to live, and it starts counting down.
That always goes well.
And the girl's like, this isn't real, but mysteriously people start dying, so she deletes the app, but it's still counting down. Creepy. I like that we're getting more modern and using like cell phones and things to like do your death thing. So anyways, check out Countdown. I'm going to go watch it. I don't know if I know any of the people in this movie. Oh, Peter Facinelli. Peter Facinelli's in it.
Yeah.
That might be their one big name. Who knows? The other movie coming out nationwide is Black and Blue. It stars Naomi Harris.
You were seeing that one on the Tuesday.
It's the one where the lady is a police officer, but a crime happens in a black neighborhood, and she kind of has to unravel the intricacies of being a police officer and part of the community.
That is not what happens.
It is, isn't it?
No.
Something happens.
It's not a crime in a black neighborhood.
It's a crime.
She walks in on other cops.
It's a crime in a black neighborhood.
It has nothing to do with the black neighborhood. It has to do with
about the neighborhood taking care of their own.
Okay, but it's not about it's about her. The cops are trying to kill her because she witnessed cops killing somebody.
I know, but it has to do with.
And now she's running around,
and the cops.
Now she's just running around trying to survive. She's trying to survive before they erase the police cam.
Whatever. I think that she's also trying to navigate the intricacies of dealing with the cops.
That's different than what you said. You said there's a crime in the black neighborhood.
It is.
And that is not.
That is what happens.
That is not the premise of the story.
Anyways, this one I hadn't heard of, but I'm so excited to see it. It's called Paradise Hills. Emma Roberts is shipped off to this mysterious facility where they're basically sounds like they're making Stepford wives out of them. Mila Jovovich is in it. Awkwafina's in it.
Mila Jovovich.
And so I want to see this movie. Also coming out on the Netflix, we have the movie Rattlesnake. Somebody gets bit and they're in the middle of nowhere trying to figure out how to survive.
Is Dolomite this week or is it next week? Oh, we're going to talk about The Gallows too because I've already seen it and I interviewed the directors.
Dolomite is this week on Netflix.
So we'll be talking about Dolomite. I'm super excited for that. But The Gallows 2, if you didn't see The Gallows 1, it's called The Gallows.
This is Gallows 2. This was
a follow-up sequel. I got to speak to the directors of the film and writers, and so we'll talk about that.
There you go. That's it. Next. Is it me?
It's still you, sister.
Make sure you check out our website, HollywoodMatrimony.com. Don't forget to go up to the top to the contest button so you can win free stuff. Also, thank you for watching us on Facebook at Hollywood Matrimony, YouTube at Hollywood Matrimony. We're also on Instagram at Hollywood Matrimony, and we're on the Twitter at Hollywood Matter, MATR. That's all.
And thank you for joining us on this episode. And don't forget, we'll be back for another episode of Martial Arts Movie Mondays on Monday, as well as TV Tuesdays. And we're back to daytime TV Tuesdays. And I got an awesome new show to talk about that's not really new, but it's new to me. And a couple of other new things because there's some stuff that's hitting tonight.
I'll be talking about silly HGTV shows.
Of course. And then hopefully my deadline ends tomorrow. So hopefully I'll be back to
Being not grumpy.
Weekly updates, as well as the What's on My Desk in My Mind. And then, of course, we'll be right back here for another episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live Halloween edition.
Nice.
Because we'll be coming off of our Halloween party and all the epic things that go along with it. So we'll probably have Halloween party stories and all kinds of shenanigans. And depending on how things are set up, we may actually come from live from the depths of the Halloween decor.
What?
We'll see what happens.
All right, there you go.
So please make sure you subscribe to this channel down below or hit the little orb up top and watch whatever trailer pops up. And don't forget, tomorrow they're dropping 2 new trailers. Rise of Skywalker, the final trailer. It's exactly 2 months until the final film hits
theaters. Can we buy tickets?
Tickets open tomorrow. So right after the trailer drops, the trailer is dropping during Monday Night Football.
Okay.
So just like it did last time. So that trailer will drop, then the tickets will go live on sale.
We're all going to be on our computers.
And
we're going to crash some websites.
And at some point tomorrow, they're dropping the trailer for the new comic book film Bloodshot, starring Vin Diesel. So we'll finally see what it looks like, because I don't know if he looks like Bloodshot, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
So that's it for now. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for watching.
Be nice to one another. Peace.
Bye.